So, back from Stunfest, I've stopped breaking the game with Maxima, my voice has recovered slightly, so I'm starting to do this video. I planned on doing this as soon as I got back from Stunfest, but obviously my voice was kinda destroyed, got a bit too hype, you know, so doing it a bit late, but doing it nonetheless. And that is going over Kim's safe jump, the options he's got from his safe jump, and the mix-up game that he's got from his safe jump. What is and isn't really a mix-up, and what is and isn't good to do. So I'll go over the basics because I feel playing a lot of Kim players internationally, whichever, they don't do it very much, which is really odd and really strange if you ask me. So the most basic thing you can do is, you know, your jump 8, and then you've either got your immediate lows, your staggered lows, you know, your weight throw, or you know, you've got your kinda pretend to throw and then punish them for trying to tech. Right, that's your Kim basic mix-up game off that jump, that safe jump. And that's all well and good. It's incredibly good. It's incredibly powerful because off a throw you get another mix-up, which, depending on how good you are, you either get another safe jump or you get a mix-up that doesn't work against someone doing reverse DP option select. Maybe taking the throw isn't that bad of a choice. I feel that off a throw, really what Kim gets is essentially exactly what he gets off his B&B though. So you're taking 100 damage to go back into the same situation. So it is threatening, for sure. So off this basic safe jump, there's two things. The main thing would be you can either do jump A or jump CD. That's generally the two things that Kim players will go for. Personally, I think jump CD is better mid-screen, jump A is better in the corner. Now the reason for that is, when you do jump A mid-screen, if they mash on backdash, they get put too far away for a crouch B to hit, and they're generally out of range. So when I see that hit, usually I'll just try and do crouch B immediately, because I think to myself, I've hit them, I just want to combo and redo my safe jump, if that makes sense. But obviously I'll do it, I'll realise, oh wait, they've backdashed, I've wasted some time doing a crouch B. At best I can maybe get into range for like crouch B, stand B, forward A. That's like the best I can get. It's not great. Whereas if I do jump CD and they backdash, they get pushed all the way across the screen. I get a lot of space, and if they're near the corner and they quick roll, I get a good mix up off it because they don't have any throw involved when they quick roll. So I now have a good situation just kind of sitting in front of me, and if they stay down, I get all the time in the world just to like run up to them and wait. So I feel that jump CD shuts down the backdash well enough, and I don't think jump A does enough. But I feel the mix up, usually if they block it off the jump CD, isn't as good because they've got a longer time to wait, especially for the throw. So it can be more difficult convincing players that you're going to throw, or, you know, staggering that low. So that's the basic Kim, like standard safe jump into things, into what he can do, and it's really, really strong. And for some reason I don't see a lot of people go for the most basic stuff, but all the top Kim players I see do it quite frequently. So, you know, it is worth doing 100%. The basic stuff sometimes is the best mix-up you have. So now I'm going to kind of go into what isn't a mix-up and what not to do. So the big thing when Kim jumps in, or when he does his safe jump, sometimes I'll see people mashing on tech. You know, back, whichever, back heavy kick, back heavy punch, whichever, they're just trying to tech. So for this, really, you're not actually trying to tech at all, because Kim actually can't do a safe jump and a throw. Like, he has to wait like a long time before he can do that. So, you know, he can't throw you right away. It just isn't an option. So, you know, it's just not that good. It really just isn't good to tech, because he can blow you up for trying that, which is to just do signatures in. And I don't think this is actually all that good at all, but it works because people are trying to tech when they don't have to tech. I mean, I know some people will do it to try and throw Kim out of what he might do, like maybe an empty jump low, but I don't, like, that isn't actually a thing either. At best you'll tech a throw, or he'll tech a throw, because when you do, like, I'm gonna try this first time, sometimes I mess it up, sometimes I don't, but more consistent Kim players, oh, that's not what I want. Oops. So, I'm really bad. Apologies. Wow. Hopefully I got it that time. Right. So Kim, safe jump. Oops. Maybe I walked out of range there, I'm not sure, or maybe I just did it. I did this at the empty jump too late, but I'll see if I can still show it off. I did the empty jump too late, so it's not really working. Right, there you go. That's it right there. So, I did the empty jump too late there, so I wasn't able to throw Kim straight away. You know, sometimes if they do that, maybe they mess it up, you will just hit them. That is a possibility, you'll just hit them. You won't throw them, you'll just hit them. But if they do it properly, you will throw them pretty much every single time you try this. But as you've seen, he teched, which it's really weird, you know, to a lot of people, like, showing that off, because at no point do I ever do any kind of standing move. I'm always crouching, always chaining my crouch Bs, but I managed to tech, yeah, every time. So the secret to that is to do that input right there, which is light kick, back heavy kick, down back, light kick again. And it can be difficult to do consistently, I feel, like, especially in the heat of the moment or in a match, but it will take a throw every single time. There is no possible way that you could throw a Kim player who is doing this when they do that empty jump. So your tech isn't all that useful at all. It isn't really protecting you from anything, it isn't letting you capitalize off of him trying to go for that empty jump mix up. It just doesn't work. And seeing people still trying to tech when it's so dangerous, when he could just do that jump yes and gets us in, you know, I don't think that's a good choice for a Kim player. But if I know 100% that they are trying to tech or throw me in case I mess up, I'll do it every time, because it is good reward. I get a hard knockdown again, and they're now scared to do that. You know? Although scaring them to do that doesn't really help me much, it means that if I do ever go for that empty jump low, the empty jump low will be an empty jump low. I won't get just a tech and reset to neutral. But even then, I don't think empty jump low is that good of a mix-up, because especially off the safe jump setup, you've always got this kind of set time where you know that you have to block for so long, and then, you know, you do the mix-up, you go to low, and the only real way he can do to mix that up is to do a late D-hang Getsuzan, which I think is perfectly reactable. And not only that, even if it does hit you, the damage isn't that much compared to what else he could do. I believe the damage isn't actually that high. Oh well, I can't tell. Damn. The damage is like 80 damage. It's about a CD's worth. And off of that, he doesn't have like a straight up safe jump he can just do. He'd have to eye the safe jump. Now a good Kim player will be able to eye like a 4 or 5 frame safe jump like every single time. But it's not standard, it's non-standard, so I just feel like sometimes maybe taking that is better than anything worse he could do. Especially because if he does do the Ietsan Getsuzan and you just block it, then you just block it. I think Kim ends up being like -1. in this situation. So if you're a grappler, you can grab him, and if you're anyone else, if you've got a move like 4 frames or faster, you're almost always going to beat him, unless you mess up, basically. So personally, if you're playing against Kim and he does a safe jump, don't try and throw him when he gets on the ground. Don't try and capitalize off his mistake, because it's not worth it. It just isn't worth it. You know, the amount of games I have stolen doing that to people, you know, it's ridiculous. Because that ESN gets into me is really actually quite low risk. Like, I think like the best thing someone could do is maybe roll it, but even then I don't even think that's a real punish. I'll set all guard on and see if like I can punish. And even if they roll too early, they just get hit. So even then, it's not even that great. And a guard roll, I'm pretty sure is that a punish? I don't think it is. Right, so I can turn off that. Right. Hold on, let me see when Kim stops playing. Oh, he stops playing before he hits the ground, so all guard, if that is on, should work. But even then, I feel like I'm too far away to do anything. Is that a punish? Maybe. Maybe. You know, still though, it is a big risk. And there, I feel like I could have got punished for that roll. You know? It's not consistent, if you ask me. And there, I'm too far out of range to punish that one. So, you know, I actually don't know the full details of that. But I'm pretty sure it isn't that great of an option. I mean, just doing a random back roll when Kim jumps into you isn't really that good of an option, because you can just react and ESN gets his on the ground. And I don't think you can react to the super flash or the ES flash of a jump ESN gets his in time to like realise and then be able to punish, and then it's just not a good option, right? So that's out the way. So the item to jump low, I don't think is that good of a mix-up. I feel like the most basic mix-up is the best mix-up. Like, if you're gonna do something like that. But now let's go over the more advanced mix-up, I guess. This one, so this first one is kind of, in my opinion, guaranteed damage. Essentially. Yeah, this thing right here. This one, to me, in my opinion, is guaranteed damage, because you, even if you down back, this will still hit you because of the like transition frame when you turn around. Because you're not able to cancel it into anything, you just kind of get hit. So you can't block it down back or anything, you can't avoid it. But if you do like hold down forward, you'll avoid it entirely, and you can actually punish Kim his landing frames. But it is very difficult, and you have to know it's coming, and you have to be ready. And that means holding like down forward when he could just not jump and do that cross up and just do crouch B, and then you die and go back into the same situation. To me, it's guaranteed damage, in my opinion, and it pushes Kim toward, or pushes the opponent towards Kim, so that when they get up, he's right on top of them. This is easily probably the most effective mix-up he has, but it is low reward for hitting it. Now, for 2 bars, he can actually do pretty much the same thing. Oops. Do forgive me if I do mess this up. Whoops. You can do the same thing, so... Oh dear. Doing it live, huh? Wow. So, trust me when I say he can do like cross-up jab into level 2, which is the other thing he has. Not that. It's done just like the jump CD. I think the timing is slightly different, which might be why I'm messing it up. But there we go. That's what I'm looking for. So that right there is pretty much the same thing, you can't down back, it doesn't work. You have to block it or make it miss, which again you can punish the recovery frames. And if you actually block this, if I remember right, Kim just fucks off across the other side of the screen. So you ain't punishing that, really. And if you are punishing it, you have to down forward and press your button in time to catch his landing frame. Some characters can't even catch the landing frame because their crouch B isn't far enough. They don't have something that goes far enough, except maybe like a sweep. You know, to me, this is just an amazing mix-up that some players use, some players don't, and I feel it's very useful and really broken, like really broken. In my opinion, just completely guaranteed damage, and the level 2 version is absolutely superb. You don't get a mix-up after it because they get up very quickly after level 2, but it is a lot of damage. It's something like 400 damage. Maybe. Don't quote me. Like 300 to 400. Pretty good for something that's essentially unreactable. And then the last kind of mix-up that I say is really good would be neutral CD into jump C, which actually is going to be really hard to do on the recording. I don't know if I can do it on the recording. Well, I won't do it in the recording. I'll show it like just me doing it. And that's that right there. That is amazingly broken. Amazingly hard to deal with because he can just land on the other side if done right. I'm very bad. I haven't. I should have maybe practiced some of this stuff. You know, this leads to HD and he's back turned. You know, so you know that is like something he couldn't have mashed out of there. I just put a little gap in it. It works. You know, it's just absolutely amazing mix up. And the other thing is when you back turn someone. Oops. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do it, am I? When you back turn someone in this game, wow. When they turn around, they lose their throw involve. So it makes that throw game even more deadly because he's just able to just immediately turn that around in his favour, and it is so threatening that I feel it's one of the best mix-ups he has off the safe jump that I don't see a lot of people do. I actually stole it myself from Coco. Pretty sure that's how you say his name. The Japanese Kim player. I saw him do it quite a bit, and it's really good. But I don't see a lot of other Kim players do it very often. Whether it's unknown or whether they just don't think it's that good, I don't know. But I feel it's one of his best choices, 100%. So I think that covers most of what I wanted to cover. Maybe not. But yeah, basically, just block. If you're playing as Kim, just block, because teching or doing something crazy like the backdash, you're just putting yourself further in the corner. Things like that just isn't a good choice. That's the other thing. Actually, maybe I'll show this off as well. Is when you do something like empty jump low. Well, I did do it late there. Oops. So I will do it again. Oh, well, I'm bad, but the first one looks like it was like alright. So the other option select you have is that hop back. This is actually usually used against kind of grappler characters and things like that. Is this kind of hop back option select on your wake up? You can do this on a quick roll and everything. It's great. So if they jump in, this is actually useful in general against jump ins, especially things like empty jump, throw, and neutral, because you will just get away from it most of the time. But this kind of jump back immediately thing loses to the same thing the backdash does, so it isn't that great of an option. But I have seen people use it against Kim, which frustrates me. I mean, you are blocking the whole time until he hits the ground, so you are essentially doing the same thing as if you were teching, but you're not, if that makes sense. This is useful against grapplers and things like that. primarily, and I don't think it's really good against Kim, because he can just catch you for jumping back. Of course you can press buttons and whatever, but maybe hit his like stand B or his 8 Sangetsu-zan to catch you or something like that. But personally I just don't think it's that good of an option, and you shouldn't be doing it. Yeah, so essentially that's what I wanted to maybe get across. This is probably a very long-winded video, and I do apologise, but I am very lazy. But yeah, basically, if you're against Kim, just block. Block and be ready for the mix-ups that he does have. If he does neutral jump CD, then he can do that jump C mix-up afterwards. He can't do that really from like a jump forward CD. He has to like step back, and it's really awkward. It's hard to time. It's not really worth it. You know, just always be ready to down back when you're supposed to, like when he would naturally land, so that you can block the empty jump low. But yeah, I think that's about it really. The D Hangetsu-zan is just something you'll train yourself to react to. It's the same for the like kind of jump CD cancel into 8 Hangetsu-zan. You'll eventually be able to just block that most of the time, and even if you do get hit by it, it is only 80 damage, and it isn't that big of a deal compared to a lot of other things that could happen to you, you know? So hopefully this helps someone, maybe, and hopefully you can understand my kind of sort of still recovering voice, and I'll see you guys later. Maybe I'll make some other videos going over some